and welcome to today's session. Today's session is on people and burnout during a pandemic. Imagine 2019 when we used to go to office. When we come back home, we used to tell that we are exhausted. But today, we are not going anywhere. We're stuck at home. Our office and personal life have become, we are operating from the same house, same room. And there are a lot of uncertainties around us, which has put a lot of pressure on our mental well-being and physical well-being. So it's very important to understand what burnout is, and we would learn a lot about burnout today from Dr. Anna Tapia. So this program is brought to you by Wellbe Work and IIP, International Institute of Psychotherapy. Just a brief about Wellbe Work. Wellbe Work as an organization focuses on mental and social well-being of individuals and individuals in organization. We offer employee assistance program through assessments and confidential counseling services. Through our confidential counseling program, we address personal, professional, and familial issues. As a part of our program, we also offer webinars and workshops to create awareness. I would like now to invite ASPI to introduce International Institute of Psychotherapy.
Good evening to all. Thanks for joining us for this session. The International Institute of Psychotherapy, which is called as IIP, has been established to make available evidence-based psychotherapy intervention, research, training, and education that are built on the best available clinical evidence to promote optimal functioning of individuals across the lifespan. It was established by a multidisciplinary team of mental health professionals to be a forerunner in the field of psychotherapy. Padma Vibhushan Professor Dr. M. Sharada Menon is the founding patron of IIP, that is International Institute of Psychotherapy. And for more details about IIP, you people can visit our www.iippsychotherapy.com website and get to know more details about the other details. So now I would like to invite Rachel ma'am to introduce the speaker of the day and tell us about the whole program. Thank you.
Welcome one and all. Warm welcome to Anna Tapia. Just a brief intro about her and what she does. She is an executive coach and a therapist based in Lisbon, Portugal. She has a postgraduate degree in psychology, cognitive and behavioral therapy, and constructivist therapies. She is also a certified EMDR and internal family systems therapist. She is an active private practice as well. She has authored a book, a couple of chapters, and articles, mostly in Portuguese. Her postgraduate work was on burnout, and her areas of interest include gender, moderation between motivation and well-being, and psychosocial empowerment. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, it's my turn now. I welcome all. Thank you for your presence. Thank you, IIP, for the invitation. It's a great pleasure to be here to talk about one of my favorite themes of today, for now, yes, in actuality, that is burnout. And in particular, in these difficult times that we are facing in the pandemic. So I will start to share here my presentation. What is the agenda that I propose for today? First of all, to name what are the risk factors for burnout during the pandemic. What is special in this pandemic that could increase the risks of professional stress or burnout. What is burnout? Burnout has many meanings, and at the end, I hope it will be more clear what is stress related to work and the difference from other from other kinds of stress, or even other mental health conditions like depression, anxiety, or some kinds of some symptoms of psychosis. What are the risk factors? Burnout is, according to the specialists, it's not a personal condition. It's not a problem of the person. It's a problem of the workplace, or it's an organizational problem. But in my opinion, I agree totally, and this because and this is one of the reasons why burnout is so different from depression. Even when one person is show burnout, could be depressed, but it's not the same thing, and the treatment, it's not the same. And finally, how to prevent in our lives. What can we do to prevent the risks of this situation? If there are any question or if you don't understand what I'm saying, I suggest you put in the chat and more detailed questions at the end of the webinar. At 15 minutes, the last 15 minutes, I will answer. It's okay? If you want to use emojis to express your reactions, will be welcome. And if you want to turn your cameras, will be nice also. Let's continue. Burnout. The first time that we listen about burnout was in 1960s, and to naming a man, I will say John. It's not his real name. John, it was a Red Cross volunteer, and he was a very dynamic, committed, and empathic person. But suddenly something began to change. And he doesn't seem the same person. He was detached, he was irritable, he was demotivated, and it seems a different person. So this was the first time that I know burnout came. And in that case, to refer the exhaustion produced in particular in helping professions. Some years later, in 1970s, more or less. Before we continue, I would like to point some questions about pandemic, and namely, I'm sorry, I forgot to put the battery in my computer. Wait a minute, please. I'm sorry.
No worries. Yeah.
I'm back. Oh. Okay, so this is so normal, using the computer and communicating through this means that I forget completely to prepare. So let's continue. Burnout, it's a condition that anybody in any job we can face, but specifically those who work in helping professions have some kind of risks related with emotional exhaustion. And this emotional exhaustion needs to be prevented by one thing that could be very difficult for those who work in these areas. And I mean health professionals, teachers, clerics, lawyers, all professions that have an intense contact with others, commercial, etc. But more in the professions, when we use ourselves to help to promote changes in others, to convince others, etc., we have we lose or a lot of energies than we need to feed. And how do you feed this? Trying to with self-care. But especially in the professions of mental health or health, these face a big dilemma because the others are also most important than us. The first risk factor in the pandemic for these professionals is this intense care, this intense emotional investment that we do in others, because make parts of our profession, make parts of our job. What is specific in the pandemic that could be rise or increase the risks of burnout? First of all, in my opinion, and it's a personal opinion, I think we will die and we will suffer more than the effects of the fear and unprocessed grief than the physical conditions provoked by COVID. In my opinion, these effects will affect our lives and the next generations with a lot of trauma. And to minimize this, we need to make something, and we need to recognize this kind of dangers. And this kind of dangers, I can begin with fear. The fear, as we know, the fear, it's not good for our health. According to polyvagal theory, we need to have safety because we don't feel in security. We can freeze, or we can begin in the survival mode, doing a lot of things, trying to manage much more than we can get, and we need and in the pandemic there are a lot of issues that arise, unknown issues, the uncertainty with our jobs, uncertainty with financial, the social distance, and all these factors put a lot of fear, anxiety, a normal anxiety in our lives. This is one point. I would mention another thing because in my opinion, it's very important to manage. I don't know what is your opinion or what's happening in your country, but in my country and in the lot of other countries, the media message are very confusing. And we don't know what to do in this context. At the same time, we don't know if we need to use masks or not. If it's good to maintain the social distance or not. So this is a mess. One of the measures that I recommend vividly is try to be some diet about the news. Try select the news, and you need to think. And you need to take precautions, but don't follow all the news, because I think there are a lot of people that are confused. This is not the first time the world faced a COVID. The first time was 100 years ago with Spanish flu. But this is unimaginable in our century, what we are living in the last 1 year, 1.5 years, almost 2 years. So all the challenges that the pandemic brings to the way we work, a lot of us were used to go, didn't work from home. Today, it's much more common work from home than to go to the office. And this simple change have a great impact in our social relationship, in our routine, in the way we move. If we are at home, maybe we don't walk, we don't make exercise. And all these things impact in our health, in our physical health, and in our mental health. About the grief, an author say that all psychotherapy, it's about grief. And when we speak about grief, we think about the love of our loved ones, but we don't think about grief, about losing our lifestyle that we have. And we don't think in grief when we need in questions of health, changes of health, or risks of health. We don't grieve, we don't speak about grief with the limitation that we have today. We cannot touch, we cannot kiss, we must think 2, 3, 4 times before we make an handshake. I think, I don't know if you do that, but I'm not feeling secure. So we need to make something for not be freezing in that fear, in that and in the concept of losing our not natural networks of social support. But what is burnout? What well, burnout, a curiosity maybe. In 1970, burnouts were the people who were drug addicted. And drug addicted only want something, the drug. So didn't care for anything more than drug. And Freudenberg worked in a facility of drug treatments. And he began to notice in the practitioners a loss of will, And this loss of will maybe could arise from the maybe they make a lot of effort and they didn't solve changes, and crossing the time they become not burnouts, because burnouts were the drug, they are named the drug addicted, but it was the first time that burnout came with this dimension, loss of will. But it was only in 200s with Christina Maslach that burnout entered to social psychology in organizations. And Maslach said that burnout in that time, she said, burnout, it's a continuous stress, professional stress. And what is the difference between burnout and other kind of stress? Because the sources are in the workplace, are professional. This is not a one-shot state, it's a process, but it's different people show burnout in the different ways, but always there are three dimensions. The first dimension is depersonalization, when you feel apathic, indifferent, with some cynicism about the events. You lose your will to do anything because you don't believe in nothing. Another dimension is you could feel alienated. Is why I mentioned psychosis here. Some symptoms of psychosis could be related with this, dissociation, etc. The other dimension is emotional exhaustion. This we know very well. I feel tired. I can get no satisfaction. I can get motivation. Everything is so hard. I'm sure a lot of us knew this state. The difference from this state to burnout, it's burnout arise from it's not one shot, as I say, it's a repeated. Our behavior change and change in a and seems not and the person. It's different now that when the people were in the past. A friend of mine another day said, "Oh, Anna, I have so many demanding in my family, in my house. I'm burnout," and I laugh. And I say, "No, I'm sorry. Your family, it's not your job. If it was your job, you were burnout. You are stressed. You need to rest, but you are not burnout. Come on." So professional, it's a professional situation, and the source it's in your profession. The other dimension, and a lot of us know this dimension, it's lack of personal accomplishment. In common sense, low self-confidence, low self-esteem, feelings of worthless. The person thinks that it's not capable of anything, that is miserable. Okay? And there are degrees in all these dimensions, and in all these signs, there are degrees. And how much higher is the degree, much more danger is for our health. To sum up about what is burnout, loss of will, it's a continuous professional stress. Sweden and Netherlands, as my knowledge, were the two first countries who recognize burnout as a medical condition. But now in 221, the World Health Organization say for the first time, no, my friend, this is a professional disease. Okay, this is a disease. This is not stress. This is a disease, and this source is in our profession, in the way we do in the way we work. What will be the most risk factors? And I'm in more risk if I have more of these factors present. These 7 factors, there are 7 sources of burnout, were identified by Majvash. For me, it's much, they are all important, but one that is very common and very normalized is the work overload. We work a lot. We have not only a high volume in our of activities, we have constantly timetables, we have to learn new things, we have a lot of challenges to face. So our work is very intense and we work a lot. The second, and this is normal, because if you don't work, you could be fired. If you don't work, and if you are fired, you lose your job, and maybe it will be not so easy to find another job. So we continue and work and much more. And the anxiety, one of the impacts of the anxiety is give the energy to work more, and at the same time we began to feel we don't sleep, we feel nauseous, and we feel butterflies in our stomach, and we don't understand why. It's our body saying, please stop, please work a little, work less, stop, please, you need to have a break. So work overload, it's very, very important. But the other belong to the social psychologists when we design the jobs. There are some kind of things they recommend always. Autonomy, the reward or the recognition must be adequate to the job. There must be a sense of mission, of values, a mission that connects our work with our community. Practices of communication for the people who feel that they are not victim of injustice. In the work that I do, the values, there are no conflict of values. And this last one, in my opinion, it's also very, very important. And is we as an individual need to pay attention to this, but also the organization is we are not able, considering our health for any profession. Maybe I can have the skills, maybe I can have the education, but there are some jobs that it's not my fit. So I need to have the self-knowledge to know what is for me and what is not for me. And in organization, one of the most important practices, in my opinion, in terms of human resources management, is the policies of recruiting and selection. According to my experience, a lot of problems begin or end in the first steps of the recruiting process. The specialists don't mention what I'm going to mention. There are personal risks. Yes, there are personal risks for burnouts. And the best friends of burnouts, you have three best friends. Perfectionism? No, I need to do a little bit better. No, this is not enough. No, I need, or I don't do, and I procrastinate. First best friend. The second best friend, excessive dedication. In my life, there are only job, nothing more. The thing most important for my life is my job, so I give all. I have a colleague that I asked about what practices that she had about work-life balance, and she said, well, my work-life balance is my job. Okay, good. You are a strong candidate to burnout. Continue. And the third factor is lack of social life. We need to connect. We need to speak with other people. We need to be with other people. And in pandemic, there were a lot of restraints and constraints to be with other people. So be very attentive. We are different. There are persons that enjoy to be enjoy to be with other persons. They need to be in parties. They need to socialize. The others are more introverted. Okay. You don't need to change your way of being, but you need to be with others. To be alone, it's not good for your health. The solitude kills much more than any disease, according to the investigation. So how to prevent burnout risks? I bring you a study that was published in Harvard Review in April. These are two there are two professors in the Washington University. And what they say, and this is very important, they say, okay, the first step to combat burnout is to diagnose which symptoms you are experiencing. Because if you are emotionally exhausted, it's different if you are completely detached. And the measures are different. The next step is to replenish those depleted resources. But sometimes, and to prevent, you only need, and the best remedy is to make a break, or is, as I say in my book, stop, make a stop. You need to stop in your life. They saw in a student population the level of exhaustion in the following day when they exercise, sleep, eating well, make breathing exercises, listen music, anything to take care of ourselves to replenish the energy, it's a good effect only in the following day. But of course, it's not when you are burnout, because if you are burnout, you need much more than that. This is good for prevention, for first level of prevention, not second level of prevention. And this is not effective when your main area is the personalization, or when you feel detached and everybody, and you don't feel connected with other persons. When this happens, there are a very counterintuitive measure. And imagine, I don't want to see anybody. I want to be only with myself. Imagine, what is the remedy? The remedy is to show kindness for others. The remedy is to be with others in an altruistic manner. And they find that when we show kindness for others and show other care, the confidence increase and less burnouts. It's incredible. At this point, I would mention a book that is Compassion Fatigue. And the compassion fatigue, it's very common in mental health or other health professionals. According to neuroscience, what they mean by compassion fatigue, it's empathy. And Tina Singer, it's an investigator, and she found that our brain circuit for empathy, it's associated with pain. But if we choose, or if you change empathy for compassion, then the circuit of our brain that is an activator is the circuit of pleasure. So I would like to stress this. Change empathy for compassion if you want to take care of yourself. Okay, but if burnout, it's an organizational problem, how to prevent, what it's possible to do, what we need to do. Well, for me, and if I forget everything, the most important, it's leadership. It's willingness to treat the problem, to recognize that stress, professional stress, it's an issue. And in nowadays, I think there are a lot of measures that are needed to put in action to redesign our jobs, because when we are working from home, we need to develop programs for socialization. We need to have a different kind of leadership. We need other ways of control. Another thing that is very important, because a lot of people suffer from burnout in the entry level of a job or when it's promoted, is having training, mentoring, and in sometimes coaching. And psychological support here in Portugal, more and more the companies are searching for this. And at least, but not, it's most important, attention to recruiting and selection practices. And I think social psychology and the psychologists could give a very good insights in this. How to prevent burnout risks? So, these measures are more or less obvious. You need to work less. You need to feel that you have power to decide, that you have possibility of choice. You are not a prisoner. And sometimes we feel prisoners of our lives. But even if we are prisoners, I would like to recommend a book. I don't know if you know. It was wrote by Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl was a survivor. He was a psychiatrist and survivor of the Holocaust. And he said, one of the things that helped him to survive was because he has a meaning, he has a purpose, and this helped him a lot to survive to conditions that I cannot imagine. So if you don't have a purpose, if you don't have a meaning for what you do, please find it quickly, because it will help a lot. Another thing I would like to recommend to manage all states of fear and anxiety and insecurity that we are facing in our lives, it's polyvagal exercises. I don't have time here to mention much more, but I recommend that you do, that you pay attention to this approach and to do some exercise. Later on, I will propose some very simple. And the last mention that I would like, and I think is when it's the central point, we need to develop ownership of our lives. As Mandela said, I'm the master of my soul, I'm the captain of my destiny. We know that this is not so simple, but we need to develop our self-leadership, the sense that gives us the confidence, the creativity, the calm, and the compassion to lead and manage the situation in our lives and in the lives of the other people around us. We have, I will speak a little bit more and then I open to discussion. What are the antidotes for these best friends of burnouts? Well, one, and this is it's difficult, but it's very important. Trust yourself. If you don't trust in yourself, who will do? Please, you are not gold. If you were gold, you were perfect. No, you are not perfect. But try to evaluate what you have good. Try to evaluate your strengths and forget if you cannot change your weaknesses. Try to be better, but in first hand, look what you have good, not what you have bad, okay? This is very, very important. Could be a work-life job, developing a true sense of trust in ourselves. But I assure you that it's a good job. The next, well, work less and smarter. Less is more. And if you forget all, less is more. So work less. So try to decrease the baggage that you have in your work, the work overload. Try to decrease what doesn't bring value, neither to your life, neither to your job. Less is more. This is very important, according to me. It's to learn to speak. Sometimes we don't speak because we don't want to offend others, or we are afraid of consequences. But we can say everything, but we need to learn the best way to say everything, okay? And this is a special recommendation for women. I don't know how it is in India, but in Portugal, a lot of women suffer from this problem. They don't like to offend. And I know that in India also. So remember this, learn to say everything, and we'll feel much more strong and much more confident, and we'll accomplish much more. According to my knowledge, this is one of the best books for helping with strategies for helping professionals, and they made a research, the most with a sample that cross cultures and countries. And they identify a lot some practices that's especially for this population, but it's for all. These practices that I'm going to say, it's for everybody. First, self-knowledge. Oh, yes, self-knowledge, to know this job is to me. I'm doing well. I'm what I need to do differently, and this is one. This is mentioned in helping professions. Okay, in the other professions, maybe you can say, oh, self-knowledge. Self-knowledge for what? Self-knowledge, it's a base of leadership. If you don't know yourself, if you don't have our awareness, you cannot be a leader. You cannot lead others, and you cannot lead yourself. And, well, you didn't know this, I imagine. The second one, oh, I love this. I love this. Frequent holidays, breaks, and there are some text missing, but frequent holidays and pauses. Pauses during a year, during a week, during a day. This is one of the top 2 practices in all studies. And make a break from your job, from your this is important. When you make holidays or when you make pauses, break with your activity, break with digital, break with people related with your work. Okay, you will feel much more better if you do that, according to some investigation. I like this also, work-life balance. So we need to, our life has a lot of dimensions. Please, the job is important, but it's only a part of your life, okay? Take care of your family, take care of your friends, take care of your community, have hobbies. Hobbies are very important to replenish some exhaustion. And this I love this. Have fun in your lives. How was the last time you had fun? How was the last time you enjoyed to be with others? How was it? How long? And what was the last time? You must have fun. Okay, I will say every day. Okay, it's not possible every day, but please put fun in your life. And this is one of the top 3 for helping care professions, helping care teachers, etc., lawyers, etc. And I don't know if you know this, it's Madame Kataria. And Madame Kataria, it's a doctor, and he said, imagine yoga laughter have the same effects than real laughter. And you say, what? Yes, is what you say. Okay, but I don't want to laugh. There are nothing to laugh. Maybe I would like to make a pause here. May I? And I will ask if you can turn on your camera. No? Oh, thank you, Rachel. Rachel Divakar. Tanya. It's a small exercise. It's one of the most important things in this webinar, trust me. Will words, if you have connection for that. Internet connection. No more? No more, not anybody? Oh, great, Chandran, Celine, wow. So nice to see your faces, Mary. No more? Oh, Sava.
Oh.
Welcome. Welcome. Okay. So, would you like to try a little exercise to see if you can learn to laugh without reason? Would you like to try? Yes? Yes. Come on. It's very, very easy. You know to learn to do 2 things for now. 3 things. The first one, you need to breathe, okay? So let's try if we can breathe. And I invite you to inhale deeply. Come on, and exhale. Nobody with me? I'm alone. I'm feeling alone here. Nobody wants to try to breathe?
We are breathing here.
Sorry?
We are breathing.
We are breathing.
You are breathing? Okay, okay. So inhale deeply and exhale with your mouth open. Right. The second thing, you can, when you inhale, you can raise your arms, okay? When you inhale, raise, and when you exhale, down. Ah, good. Okay. Well, the second thing you know, it's easy until now. And the third thing, you need to say ha or e or e. Let's start for ha, okay? So follow me. Inhale, raise your hands. Exhale. Why laughing? Why are you laughing? There are no reason to laugh. Okay. So I'm laughing, but I'm demonstrating 3 very important things. One, it's learn to breathe deeply. The second, move your body. Move. You need to move. Yes. Yes, mainly when you are seated a lot of time. And the third thing, you don't want to laugh. Laugh for what? This is so boring. This is so tiring. This is so, okay, say, ha ha. You can use ha, he, ho, but I recommend especially ha, because when you say ha, if you put your hand in your stomach, you will see ha. Yes, it's better than making flexions, okay, abdominals. And it's very good for your health, for raise your energy, etc. So you don't have reason to laugh. Laughter yoga, it's your solution. We have, may I have more 3 minutes? May I? Divakar.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay, so let's continue. Oops. So to sum up, burnout, it's a professional disease and it's important. It's different from other conditions and the treatment, it's different. Don't take drugs for other conditions because this is different. The pandemic increased the risks mainly related with social distance and the fear spread by media and professionals, some professionals in some governments. You need to be aware about what your job or what kind of risks you have in your job or your personal life. And small things could make a big difference. And I like to show you a video. And this video, I used this video in a lot of training in the past to inspire me and the others. I hope will inspire you also. And it's the Indian tree. I don't know if you know this video, it's 2 minutes. We'll try to see if internet allows. If it doesn't allow, I will send you the link later on.
Okay.
So be attentive to the tree. The tree could be the pandemic, could be burnout, could be any problem that we have in our lives that seems impossible to resolve.
चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले हिंदुस्तान चले
Okay. For me, this is an inspiration. And even if the obstacles are bigger, together with small steps, we'll definitely go further. So thank you. And now, if you want, I'm open to any question that you have.
Yeah. So we have a few questions here. So Sabha has asked a few questions here while you were giving the session. So the first question that he had asked for was, we are going through the yo-yo effect. Good news followed by bad news, followed by good news. While the good news offers hope, it comes down too quickly. As there are new variants of virus, we also see new variants of burnout. What do we do here?
What we do here, yes. I'm laughing, but first, stop. And I mean, it's stop. And stop to breathe, okay? When all things seems no hope, we need to think. And after that, looking around, we need to see what it's, and I mentioned some measures, but maybe one that could be help us, it's make a group of people to address these things. Don't try to do everything alone. Share your concerns, talk about this, and try to find solutions. I don't know if I'm answering really, but Saba, you can say anything to Divakar or in the chat if my answer.
Yeah, thank you. And in fact, I've been going through this for the past year or so. So I have taken certain steps. I've come out of most WhatsApp groups. I don't consume news, right? So I don't look at the number of infections that happen on a daily basis. And I have also started talking not just to my friends, but also to professionals about what concerns me. Okay, so that's something that's happening. So I asked this question more so for the larger audience, right? So I have been going through this and I have been trying to come out of it as well. So the good thing is I recognize that there is a problem. Okay. Yeah, right. So the sad thing
Yes,
is,
it's the first step.
So the sad thing is, it took me a long time to recognize that there existed a problem, right? So that's where it goes.
Yes, definitely, this is a problem, and in some cases, we need to make a lot of changes in our lives. Yes, because and we need to see what kind of symptoms or what kind of signals are more tough for me or for the people that is around me, and address them. Okay, as I say, and I underline these measures. The first prevention, you need to take care of yourself, okay, in a daily basis, because if you otherwise you will not work well, because one of the effects of burnout, you could be a very good professional, and usually people who suffer more than burnout are very good professionals, and you will increase your errors. Your performance will be not good enough, and you will have problems with your family, with your friends, etc., etc. So it's I think there are, and this is one of the questions or one of the situation. It will be very good to have receipts, but unfortunately, we need to address specifically the situations. But Saba, if you want, you can send me a mail, and we can talk a little bit much more about that. It's okay?
Sure. Thank you so much.
Now we have another question from Saba. So he says, like, pandemic has blurred work-home boundaries, leading to burnouts. This doesn't seem to be ending soon. How do we avoid this?
How do we
avoid this?
Okay. Well,
See, for instance, I'll give you an instance, right? So as soon as you asked us to switch on the video, right? So I got stressed, right? So.
Oh yes, you have the answer also good. So I like these kind of questions. Yeah, I think we need some inspiration for that. And but when we are exhausted, or when we don't have hope, we don't have any inspiration. So sometimes what we need is and begin to have a break, take some air. If you are a lot of times seated or not doing movements, it's very important to move your body. Okay, breathe, move your body, and laugh. And after that, think, because your brain doesn't work. Your cortex doesn't work. You cannot think clearly if you are in stress, if you are in fear. So the first thing you need to assure that that your brain is working, and the easy way to put your brain working in situations of dangers or in conflict, it's to breathe. And breathe, make yoga, make meditation, but the simple thing, breathe. And you don't have to do 10 or 20 minutes on 1 hour of meditation. 4 breathings or 5 breathings could be enough, but do repeat frequently. It's what I'm saying. For great problems, small solutions. But according to my experience, they do these small solutions make a big difference.
Thank you. So one Mr. Chandran has asked, is your book available in English?
No, not yet. But I will think and translate. I have some articles, maybe in the Google Translator. You could, I don't know, I didn't try in English using the Google, but in my site, and if you put my name and articles, you will find a lot of things, and you could translate. And some of, yesterday, I published an article about burnout.
Okay. So probably we will try and share those links with them.
Yes, good idea. Thank you.
So
no more.
Yeah, one question from Dr. Nambi. So he's asking, does burnout start from the physical body, and then go to the mental, or the other way around? And then he says, how do we handle this? Should we handle the body first or the mind first, or together?
This is a very important question. I don't know, because depends what kind of symptoms, what kind of signals you have. If you are completely exhausted, so you need to take self-care and small things. But if you are at the level, if you are suffering of depersonalization, detachment, you need to treat the mental level. But the first, but here, what it's important, it's try to connect. But in both situations, in my opinion, we need to address both, okay? Both dimensions. But usually, according to my experience, when you are so exhausted, emotionally exhausted, you need to treat your body first and then to assist the mental. So I gave the answer. That is the answer.
Yep. Diwakar, can I just talk,
Yes,
Diwakar?
yes.
Yeah. Hi, Anna. This is Dr. Nambi here.
Pleasure.
Yeah. So my thing is that sometimes, we get confused whether it is the body that is giving away or the mind that is giving away. That's where the confusion is. If we know it is a mind, okay, we can work there. If we know it is a body, then we can work there, So sometimes we are in a gray area where we don't know whether it's the body that is, the tired, or the mind that is getting exhausted. So that is where, the gray area.
Yes, I agree. I agree with you. So it's important to make questions, to identify when it begins And for instance, there are a person that speak with you, and you make some questions, and the person say, "Oh, I don't sleep well since 6 months. I don't eat, etc." Now you need to address the physical. And when I say physical, sometimes it's not very complicated. It's not needed to do complicated things. What you need is to try to connect the person in a mental and emotional and body way. And the best thing that I know for that, it's meditation and breathing. But you will find the right solution only if you listen. You need to ask to the people, and then you will see what kind of answer, because if you have a person with the personalization, that depends of the degree, but I can give you an easy solution for that. I don't know in field you work, but body experiential and somatic work, it's very good for physical. For the personalization, you need to go by the mental, by the. I don't know if it helps, Dr. Nambi.
Yeah. Thank you very much. That did help. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So we have a couple more questions. So I'm not sure, it shows us the name is Happy Learning, but I'll just read the question. So sometimes our mind is not able to control some action. For example, if a person forgets how to see a person or how to handle a specific kind of a question, right? So how do you handle these kind of situation?
Can you repeat, please, Vivakar?
So it says sometimes our mind is not able to control certain actions, or
yes,
for example, if a person forgets to see a person, he forgets to see a person, or you know, how do you handle these kind of situations? They forget.
Okay, amnesia, it could belong to the spectrum of dissociation. So if I am with someone who dissociates, the dissociation, it's a reaction to a danger. The situation is so dangerous that the people dissociate. Amnesia, it's a sign of that. And there are degrees. We can joke, oh, she doesn't have memory. Yes, some persons that don't have memory. But sometimes forgetting things, it's much more than a memory problem. And in the mental health field, we know that the degree of dissociation could pinpoint for a difficult health situation. So we need to pay attention and try with a lot of patience, a lot of patience and compassion, try to understand what's happened. Okay.
I'm just
you
gonna,
could check.
I'm just gonna check
I don't know
if I've read the question right. So would you want to ask the question by yourself? Your name is showing as Happy Learning. So I'm not sure how to address you.
Yes, thank you. Happy Learning wrote in the chat that it's okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we have one last question here. So it's from Sabah again. Okay. Do you want to go ahead, Meher? Yeah, you're on mute.
Good evening, doctor. This is Meher. I'm in Chennai. Your talk was brilliant. I have never met a psychotherapist who has gone into so much in depth. In 1 hour, you have captured what burnout is, and I'm facing burnout right now since many years. And I'm a French teacher by profession. And I moved from Bombay, where I was 50 years, and I came to Chennai 5 years ago, and constant burnout after burnout after burnout. And now I'm on the verge of physical collapse, emotional collapse, and mental collapse. So where do I go, and where do I, what help do I seek? I'm not happy with my psychiatrist. I'm not happy with my psychotherapist. Where do I seek help?
Well,
my psychotherapist who put together Wellbe Wednesday, Thaddeus Alfonso, has gone away for a year, and it's suddenly like a carpet being swept away from under my feet. So I am alone. I feel alone, although I'm married.
okay.
I've been married since 2007, but I feel alone, like there's no one around me to help me.
Okay.
I feel totally alone, and there's lockdown after lockdown after lockdown. There's no end to the pandemic.
Okay. If you want, you can send me a mail, and we can arrange a chat and see if I can help you or not. Okay.
Okay,
And recommend a solution for you or another person.
Thank you so much.
Or maybe okay, but we'll speak with IIP to see if who could help you, who can help you. Okay.
Thank you so much. I'd like to send you a mail.
Okay, it's okay. Okay, and I will answer.
If it's not too much of taking away too much of your time or your energy or your effort, or
I will say to you, if it will too much, I will say, may I?
okay.
It's our arrangement.
Thank you. Between women, a big kiss to you.
Okay, thank you.
And I laugh a lot. Me and my husband, we laugh a lot
Oh,
together.
great.
Today we laughed a lot. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Wonderful. It was. So I have one last question. So it says, most of us don't understand if something is affecting us, leave alone the organization taking proactive steps to address them. Are there any housekeeping activities that can be done to avoid such situations?
To avoid what kind of situations?
Okay, so most of us don't understand if something is affecting us.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Oh, yes. So, yes. Oh, this is a good question. I think we need to raise awareness about our mental health, and IIP is doing this, I think. Okay, so if I there are, I don't know if it is an African proverb that say, how can the fish recognize the air? How can I recognize there are a problem if I don't know there of this existence? So what I recommend is I'm fan of these topics, so I read a lot. I try to find information according to know better myself. So I think the first my prescription and my prescription is develop your self-knowledge. Develop your self-knowledge. Try to make some questionnaires, try to speak to someone, try to speak to people who know you better and ask, well, do you think I have a problem? Do you think I'm a perfectionist? Do you think I'm so dedicated to my work? Do you think I don't have social life? Ask. I don't know if you like my prescription, but self-knowledge and investigate.
That's an interesting approach, Anna.
Thank you.
All right. So
yes.
So yeah. So we've come to the end of the session, and it was a wonderful session, Anna. Thank you very much for this lovely session. So I would like to thank you, first of all, and the members of International Institute of Psychotherapy and the team of Wellbe Work for putting this program together. And I would like to thank all the participants who are present here today and in the YouTube channel. This program is not possible without you all. So thank you for coming. And thank you very much, Anna, for this wonderful session.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was a great pleasure.
Thank
And
you,
and to combat the personalization, please use your emojis, turn on your camera, and say bye. I would like your lovely faces.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.